It's Peter Kingsley, hypnotist and mentalist from the UK, and with me is my team.
I'm Daria, I'm Doctor of Metaphysics.
And I'm Ever, psychologist.
Super, I'm glad I said the team, didn't I, really?
Yeah.
We're going to bring a different sort of dimension, I suppose, to a lot of subjects over the following few weeks, and we've got a different view and a different look on stuff, and basically we want to give people choices and options and to think about different things in a slightly different way.
Exactly.
Isn't it? So
Yeah. And today we have a great topic. I think.
Yeah.
Something really, really relevant to, unfortunately, many kids usually.
And adults.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about bullying, aren't we? We're going to
That's
talk
right.
about
Bullying.
what bullying is not, really, and what it's not, what it is, and how we believe we can help fix it, I suppose, really.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of misconceptions about bullying
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And I think, like you just said earlier on, it's not just to do with kiddies, it's adults get bullied.
Yeah,
and
it's everywhere.
And all professions, it's any profession you see people try and manipulate for a certain reason, and it's bullying. You see it in relationships, you see it in businesses all the time. So, it's not just for children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not, and I think that it's important for us to understand that it's also not being hypersensitive. I mean, there's some people that they're too sensitive, and you
Exactly.
say a comment, and then it's like, boom, I'm bullied now, right?
Yeah.
And
They
that,
treat it as bullying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between criticism and bullying,
Yeah.
or constructive criticism and bullying.
And people seem to think that, bullying is all about physical. It's a physical attack, and really it isn't. That's only what we see from the outside when we see somebody. But actually, the damage is done internally, isn't it? It's an internal thing that really hurts, not the sort of physical bullying side of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
you know.
emotional as well as mental.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't appreciate your opinions or doesn't respect you or calls you names, that's bullying.
Yeah, and then in the end, if we don't have a psychological problematic, like when we're bullied, and in other words, we're feeling relaxed, calm, peaceful, tranquil, everything, and you're being bullied, someone's hitting you, maybe, right? Or someone is yelling at you some obscenity.
Yeah.
But if you're relaxed and feeling confident, feeling relaxed, and think, you know what, I got this, I can handle this, it's no big deal, it'll pass.
Yeah.
In reality, you're not being bullied. You're just in an unfortunate situation,
Yeah.
but you're not being bullied. Bullying is it's a point of the mind. It's a phenomena that's up here.
So what that's an interesting point that you just brought up. So bullying takes two people. You have to feel bullied in order for there to actually be that sort of problem with bullying.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel bullied, is it bullying?
And that's relevant because that's sort of, when you look at it from that perspective, people think to themselves, well, how can I control this? What can I do to either prevent this or to manage this? And like you said, because it's not physical, and we know that it's an internal attack on our emotions, we have the ability to be able to manage that. And if somebody comes to try and attack you emotionally, and there's not the right response, then it goes away.
Exactly.
Isn't it? It's the same with body language. We were talking about body language earlier on, and that's what that physical attack does, doesn't it? It gives that bully or the bullier the physical view of what's going on.
You give them an entrance, basically.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you project confidence and
Yeah.
if your body language is positive, it's the same as we were talking about that earlier about attackers or aggressors on the street. If you walk in a certain way, they simply will not attack you. They'll look for someone who looks a lot weaker, someone who looks down, someone who hides their neck, hunches their shoulders, etc. Because it's very primal stuff. Well, this is how chimpanzees behave. So it makes sense there.
And it goes back to what we were saying earlier on, you see, about what happens in life, and we were talking about earlier on that it's not what you see that makes you react, it's how you feel, and we perceive that it's what we're seeing that's going to make us do something.
Yeah, and it's what's called the phenomenological perspective. Let's not make it complicated. What does it mean? It means that whatever you believe is what you feel. That's it. If you believe something, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
The philosophers know it like that. The psychologists know it as cognitive behavioral therapy. I mean, you can call it by whatever name. And this is why we have to understand, like many psychologists now and psychiatrists, they have this this sort of pattern now. They have this habit of, you have a child come into your office, ADHD.
Ah.
You have a child come into your office, mental disorder, boom, labeled,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And that's not what it's about. I mean, right now there's not an epidemic of psychopaths. There's not. I mean,
No, you're
there's
right.
not. It's
Yeah.
just there's not this new there's no generation of bullies that's just being spawned as we speak.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been going for
it's
years.
not like that. And what's really going on is that there's problems in the home, and that creates vulnerabilities in our kids, and that creates potential attackers and potential victims. It's
Exactly.
victims. It's a perfect storm.
And it goes back to what Alice was saying. What bullying is, it's not a way of gaining respect. It's not a way of feeling good. And it's not a way of achieving approval. Because going back to what you just said, that's what's going on internally. It's that they're looking for that. People are looking for that stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they're trying to use that process to get it. Whereas what we know, that there's a different way of managing that concept, which is a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it all goes back to that problems within the family, within the home, a way of sort of displacing the aggression that you feel or those harmful emotions.
So, because we believe that bullying is not physical, there,
Oh,
what
no.
are we saying? It's mental.
It's mental.
It's an internal feeling, isn't it?
I think it begins, it goes through, and it ends with the mind. It's a process that's mental, and you don't have a thought of of bullying someone or of being bullied. You don't feel it. You don't do it. It doesn't happen. We know that that's the how it happens, right? That you have a thought which creates a feeling, which creates an action. So
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
have the thought, it doesn't happen, and you don't feel it. So
Absolutely, yeah.
So
yeah.
it all goes back to the victim mentality as well.
And just to finish on the physical side of it, I think it's the fact that we were saying, you could be a 6'6" giant of a muscle build, with big muscles, and at the end of the day, I may not be able to compete with you on a physical level, but on an internal mental level, we're on the same platform.
yeah.
So we have the ability to develop that skill where we can compete, if you like, want for a better word, on a mental level. So we all got that ability, and we just need to learn it and understand it. And when we've got that, then we can have a different approach to whether we want to be a bully or we are being bullied and how we react to it. So let's go back to from what is being bullied. Why do bullies do what they do? And I think you touched on a point earlier on. It may be some internal stuff, something from the past, something from childhood upbringing, something that they've learned that's the way to achieve something, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely think it comes from the family, a lot from the parents. There's things that should happen that don't happen, like care, attention, affection, or there's things that happen that shouldn't happen, like neglect, abuse, and all of that creates this sort of bad emotional state, which can either push the child to bully or to be bullied because they have that victim mentality, that weak belief that they are weak.
And I think you're right. Is the fact that what a lot of the bullies are looking for are that sort of internal peace, aren't they? Maybe they haven't been given the attention they want. Maybe they haven't felt that purpose or that control, and they're trying to get it in another way. Or it's hurting them because they're not getting it from home. So therefore, then this will deflect it from, deflect me from having to feel that way.
And exactly what you just said, control. I think that's a key issue here. Anyone who's manipulating or abusing or bullying, I think they're looking for that sense of control because they feel out of control in their lives.
Yeah.
Maybe something happened in their past or in their childhood that they were not in control of.
And actually, the bully is getting nothing from the one who's being bullied.
Yeah.
What he's achieving is something from somebody else who's giving the approval for it. That's where that's how as the bullier, really, it's not you that's actually creating anything. It's a reaction of maybe what's going on around, isn't it?
And we have to leave out the mentality that bullies have just this, they express this unfounded aggression. It's not unfounded. It doesn't just come out because they're mean, because they're really bad kids, because they're the problem child. It doesn't work like that. I mean, there's always a cause. There's always a root. Everything in our universe has a cause, and this is not a phenomenon that's outside the realm of this causality.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that there's a cause behind it, and the effect is bullying. That's the effect. But if you correct the bullying in the school, you're just correcting the effect. You're just putting a patch. You're just taking a pill for the symptoms.
Yeah.
But you don't cure the disease.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a cold.
Yeah.
We don't have a cure for the cold.
Yeah.
We just have a way of passing through more comfortably with medication.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? We need to actually administer the medication that will take us to that place of health. We're not looking now at bullying. We need to think of health.
Yeah,
That's the real issue.
And like they always say, preventative action is better than the cure. You know, so we want to help prevent this from happening. And I think there's another thing that needs to be discussed with regards to as a human being is that sometimes we need to release some of those internal pressures that we have. And sometimes this is what they're doing, they're releasing it. But we know that there's different ways that you can release that tension. There's different ways that you can gain that respect. And the best way of gaining that is gaining your own internal respect, isn't it?
Exactly.
You know, nobody can give you as much pleasure as your own internal respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have that misconception about releasing aggression. You know, they think, oh, I'm going to go home and punch the pillow or throw something. But it's actually been shown in studies that only increases the feeling of aggression. So it's not really about doing it physically. That can make it worse. Or mentally, you know, imagining hurting someone. That only makes it worse. So again, we're going to the opposite of that. You need to relax. You need to talk about the positive.
And to some degree, you can take that concept and put it into a positive environment, can't you? If you look at sport, you know, I'm not saying you're going to go and punch somebody's head in, you know, but you can take that aggression, but sometimes use it in a different environment. Channel it to where, yes, you need to channel that energy to make sure that your muscles are switched on, they're powerful while you're doing something. You know, so you can you can keep the concept of how you feel, but just change the title.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
You know?
You do something positive with that pent up
it means,
energy.
I'm a strong person.
Yeah.
I'm a positive person. You know, I want to use this energy that I've got built up, and you can use it to create a better response.
Yeah,
you'll get a better reward.
Exactly, channel into something creative as well, because we're talking about mental and emotional things. It doesn't have to be sport for everyone. They can find something they
I
like.
used to be a soccer player. I was 5'8". I used to bully the 6'6" defenders. I tell you, you know, I used to bully them mentally. I used to tell them all sorts of things.
Yeah.
You know, but that was just to try to take away their attention. I wasn't doing it because I wanted their well, I did want their respect. In the respect I had the ability to do what I did. You know, so we're all sort of we're all sort of doing it really.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think that from the perspective of the bullied, this can bring up some negative emotion to say like, well, so then my bully is himself being bullied at home or whatever, and this is where many of these programs clash. That some say, let's help the bully, let's help the bullied. But I think it's more like, let's help the parents.
Yes.
And then first.
Yes.
And then let's empower both the bully and the bully, because they're both exhibiting levels of powerlessness.
Yeah.
One through external aggression, the other one through internal victimization. So then that's what we need to bring to the table and say, look, let's actually have a system that addresses all of the points, like cure the disease, instead of just looking at one symptom. That's no good. I mean, that we need something better. Clearly. And
that's where we look for, you know, some alternative solutions, isn't it? You know, because you know, it's easy to just pop a pill.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it, because a lot of us are, you know, we're in such a, you know, we're in relationships, we've got to work, we're this, and we just sort of don't take the time, like you just said, to realise that a lot of the bullying comes from grassroots. It has to, you know, we're not taught this at school, so we bring it for whatever reason. So I think, like you say, is to educate the parents
Yeah.
and then educate the children and let them bind together to bring it together, you know. And if one isn't coming together with the other one, at least as an individual you know how to manage it yourself. So you take control. You know, you take control of it, and I think that's some of the stuff we were talking about. You know, is to so what's the fix? What's the solution? You know, it's certainly not a pill.
No.
It's certainly not a label. It's certainly, you know,
Yeah. We can't just label it something else, right? I mean, we can't just say, well, it's not called bullying anymore, it's called fishing or whatever. I mean, that changes nothing because the name in itself, right, denotes like a bull, right? And the charge, but it's labeling is important. I think we should change the label, but we should also change the meaning.
What label got to give on a bully then?
Yeah, that's
you know,
something.
what label shall we give
Yeah.
them? You know, on certain reaction. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Inappropriate channeling of
Something like
emotions.
that.
Yeah. This makes sense to me as we're talking. You know, it's like people can't be a bully 24 hours a day, can
No.
they?
No.
It's like
And they're not.
like a thief.
Yeah.
Does not steal every single thing he's got.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Exactly.
doesn't go to the grocery store and steal everything.
Yeah.
And then go to the electronics store and steal everything there.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to abide by the rules.
So if you look at in that, but you know, if you look at it like that, then you have got the ability not to be a bully,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
haven't you?
absolutely.
Because you're not a bully all the time.
Yeah.
So we know we have the mechanics, we know we have the ability, just knowing how to manage it and how to control it a lot better, isn't it?
Mhm.
You know, someone says, "Oh, I can't help doing this." Well,
You can.
you can.
Yeah, you can.
You know, people say, "I can't sleep." Well, you do sleep at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At some point you're going to sleep. I've forgotten how to laugh. Well, you know, at some point you're going to start laughing. Well,
Yeah.
and our point to this is that there is the mechanics there is the ability to be able to do this. You know, I can't stop being bullied. Well, that's a little bit of, you know, it's a case of managing the feelings. You know, people who are bullied feel that they're being bullied all the time, and in fact they're not.
Exactly.
But their perception that it is, because it's like, you know, if somebody hurts your feelings, or for whatever reason, it's hard to manage that feeling, isn't it? It's hard
Yeah.
if it's a negative one.
Yeah, and it all goes back to confidence, doesn't it? Again, if you have sort of a weak spot, a weak link, it will hurt
Have you ever
them.
been bullied?
Yeah,
Have you?
I have.
At school?
At school and outside my house, they were everywhere. And
Was there?
I was beaten up a lot, and there was this big girl who would often like sit on me and hit me and stuff. And what changed it for me, I was so angry, and then one day I saw her in a sandbox with these babies' clothes, and she was playing with babies. She didn't have any friends her own age, and I realized that's why she's bullying me, because there's something, and that's when I
Well, you mean
forgave her.
that was physical or mental? Did you
No,
just
I
see
saw
her?
her. I saw her, and I realized that's why she bullies me, because she has problems, and I forgave her.
So there's always a reason, isn't there? There's not like a sort of generic way of being a bully. There's always something, isn't there?
There's something.
In the same way.
Have you been bullied?
I was bullied, and then I became a bully.
Ah.
So yeah.
So
but
tell me how you were bullied first then.
Well, I was bullied in many ways, you know, but it was very, very extensive. It was like the way I looked,
Yeah.
the way I talked,
Yeah.
everything, the way I dressed, like my intellect, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like stupid, clumsy,
Yeah.
idiot, you know,
Yeah.
everything wrong.
No
right?
conformity. You're not fitting in with
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Yeah.
So then I worked on myself and I built myself. And then I used what I had gained in intellect, in physical
Okay.
status, and then I used that to bully everyone else.
So you came up with a solution, but it was a little bit sort of, if
Yeah.
you'd have just,
Yeah.
if you got that bit of guidance to
Oh, yeah.
use that solution, you wouldn't have had to use the bullier type.
Yeah, and this
approach.
is where we go back, and you say you channel it positively. Yeah, I channeled it positively, but I could still use that positive for
Yeah.
a negative purpose.
Yeah.
And I did use it for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I realized what I had done,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a drastic turn of events in my life where I felt extremely remorseful that I had become the tormentor that I once despised, you know, and that.
And did you realise it yourself, or did somebody point it out to you?
It was me, because of the same thing. I was the bully. No one was going to bully me anymore. So
therefore, then, you knew your solution. You knew what the solution would
oh
be.
yeah, and I think the solution is letting it go, forgiveness, love, compassion. It's so hard, and for many teenagers who are male, especially,
Yeah.
to say that. I mean, that's what we have to redefine as well. That you can love another man, you can have compassion for another man. It doesn't
Yeah.
make you homosexual or
Yeah.
have those tendencies. You can feel that, and you can express it in a completely heterosexual way, and understand that it's just a positive thing. That you don't have to have body contact.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
can
it's
just be.
internal, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
absolutely
It's internal, so
yeah.
nobody can see the pleasure that you have.
Yeah, and that's what I understood, and that's what I did. You know, I had to, for myself, for my own being, for
Yeah.
my advancement, I had to apologize to these people. I had to say, look, you know what, I messed up. And you're absolutely in the right to be angry, to not want to talk to me, to hate me forever.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
here, I'm saying, sorry, help me. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like now
yeah.
I need your help.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you say, well, do this humiliating thing, I'll do it because I deserve it. Like, I was like this to you. So if you have that, you know, you have that feeling that, you know, you should do it because, hey, you hurt me so bad. It's only fair.
And even in your conversation, it's all to do with feelings, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Exactly.
All the words
Completely,
that we use and all the descriptions that we use, it all comes back to the same thing, isn't it? That
Yeah.
feeling we have inside our stomach. And it goes back to, giving this knowledge to the bully or the bullied, that, you know, a bully is often looking for a pleasurable feeling, a comfortable feeling.
Yeah.
And we know you can get exactly the same feeling by showing that compassion to somebody else. In fact, it's a lot more powerful than the other way, than getting a friend or a colleague who's trying to agree with you, that's making you feel good,
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it? So what's the choice? I want to bully, and hopefully that somebody's going to say that's good, and I'll feel good about it. Or I can open up a rack of friendships and feelings with people who naturally will draw to those pleasures of saying, you're a good guy, or you're not, because that's what people want, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, and without trying, you will get that approval, you will get that feeling just by giving it to them.
I think what's fantastic as well is that when you really genuinely apologize, when you do the right thing, the bully and the bullied progress forward emotionally, mentally,
Yeah.
spiritually, wherever you want.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, like in that position I was, and you say, look, I'm really sorry, what can I do to make it up to you? And you'd expect, well, you know, just humiliate yourself, embarrass yourself. And by far most of it is like, no, just this is what I needed, you know, and just the fact that you're here apologizing to me and really mean it and say like, hey, what can I do to really make it up to you is enough for me.
Yeah.
And we can just, you know, and then I asked for that same reason. Well, I want to be friends with you, you know, I don't want to just leave it at that and keep that animosity potentially there, you know, I don't want that. And it's the same, you know, they say, well, you know, let's hang out and let's do something. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the beautiful thing, that when you're in the right state of mind, in the right frame of mind, and you're authentic and genuine, things work. And that's why I believe that an apology is only as good as what you're willing to do after it. Like, you have to just understand that it's not about saying sorry, see you later.
Mm.
It's about saying, I'm really sorry about what I did. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it up to you. And I understand that if I did something for years, I might have to do something for years before you really forgive me. And that's completely okay with me. And we have to be, where we showed weakness in being a bully, we have to show also that reverse. We have to show strength in being a guide
Yeah.
towards progress.
Yeah.
For me, for everybody, you know, that's what we
And
have
I
to
think
do.
if anybody's listening to the program, you know, one of the simplest things we can get them to try, a simple thing to try, whatever it is, smile at someone or something, and just focus on how you feel. You know, it doesn't. So you can practice that. You can practice. If I just smile, and the process of smiling will generate that feeling. So practice that. Anybody that's out there, anybody that you know, just try it and see that feeling. Then what you can do, you can take that, and then if you're in situations, try it out. If you're a bully, try smiling at somebody you're bullied and see the difference.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and what we're saying is that because if you can do that, which we know you can, then all you need to do is learn to pick that up and develop that, and then you'll start to find peace. You start to find peace. You'll start to find what you're looking for, and then it'll allow you to you know, to if for some reason something's not quite right at home, you'll be able to approach it in a different way. And we're not just talking about children. We're talking about adults. We're talking about sport. We're talking about business. If you're in a bad relationship, you know, and you're bullying somebody, you see a lot of relationships where the so-called male is emotionally attacking a female. Well, actually, to be truthful, you know, from a female's perspective, a guy would rather get punched on the nose, you know, because emotionally it's very, very difficult to see the solution, to see it mend. You know, if you've got a bruise on your face, you can see it mending, can't you? If you've got an emotional bruise, it's hard, but it will get there. You can mend it. It doesn't take a long time to mend something, you know, and that's where we come in. We've all got different level of skills, you know, and one of the things we'll be talking about over the forthcoming weeks is different perspectives on things. But we want to give the listeners the opportunity to hear some of our solutions, you know. So we want them to realise that, you know, bullying isn't about a physical attack on somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of the times there's not a lot we can do about that.
Yeah, and I mean, just here with us, you know, if I ask you guys, what do you think? Would you prefer, all of a sudden, just out of the blue, your nose feels really hurt and it bleeds a while, so it physically hurts real bad, or you're in a classroom, you know, you're, let's say, whatever age, you know, and the teacher tells you to come up to the board and says, please carry out this problem, this mathematical, you know, equation, solve it. And in that moment, you turn around and realize you have no clue what you're doing.
Yeah.
And everybody starts laughing at you. No nose bleeding, right? Now, this is where I ask you guys, which one would you prefer? You know?
The nose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clearly,
Yeah.
So, bullying is not physical, clearly.
No. And I think we can sort of go to the solution aspect and talk about a positive way to deal with this, because I think for the bullied as well, if you're being bullied or you harassed, or even if you're oversensitive and you have this sort of emotional weakness or trauma that's constantly bothering you, and that everywhere you go, even the tiniest comments hurt you, I think that it's important to focus yourself in this way, that this is an opportunity for you to grow and to be stronger than you've ever been, and you can use this to go to the next level.
Yeah. And one of the solutions is, let's take the example that you gave us earlier on about when you were being bullied, and while we're being bullied, there's a lot of stuff going on in our minds and we can't seem to figure things out because it's rushing all over the place, and it doesn't understand, and it hasn't got the knowledge, and it doesn't understand what to do, and it's constantly looking for something. So sometimes the solution is there but we miss it. Like with yourself.
Because the emotions are so
absolutely
strong.
So that one situation that you saw that girl changed, that one thought, didn't it? It was a thought. It was a visual thing, but it was a thought.
Yeah.
That one simple little thing completely changed the way your mind approached the situation. And that's what we're talking about, that we know, we have the skill, we have the ability to be able to teach people that skill that will allow their mind, their emotions to just take heed for a while, see the situation, and then allow it to develop in the right way. Like that, when you see Narius, you know, we know that you saw something that created something. We had a thought, we had a feeling, a nice feeling, a positive feeling, that then actually impounded on your action. Your action now was to look at it in a different perspective, and the mind was supporting you in that.
Exactly.
And it's like a bully, you see. If a bully takes the time to smile at somebody or say I'm sorry or what have you, and their mind is relaxed enough to see the reaction, automatically the human being will take that beautiful feeling and want it to become prominent. That then gives you calm and relaxed mind that allows you to learn, allows you to go and focus on what you want to do.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah, like what you're saying is basically perspective. You put it in the right perspective, in
Yeah.
the right place. It's not, doesn't have to be something so painful. You put it
No,
in the right
absolutely,
context, and
yeah.
then you use it as a trampoline to actually strengthen yourself and work on those insecurities that you
And that's
might
what we were
have.
talking about earlier on. Our passion, if you like, we've all said it. The three of us, we want to help people. We've all got a different level of expertise. We know what the solutions are. We know what we can do. We don't need to give people a pill. It doesn't take forever and a day to get something
Exactly.
sorted out.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And we know for a fact that a lot of stuff that we can do, we can help people very, very quickly. To manage these situations.
Taking it back to what you were saying earlier about like where's the solution? It's not a pill. It's not because it's neither a way of handling the situation in some abstract, dreamy way. It's not a secret hypnosis technique.
No.
It's not a therapeutic approach from psychology. It's not a metaphysical affirmation that you repeat over and over and over in your head. It's none of these. It's really empowerment. It's really
Exactly.
engaging yourself in that state. And hypnosis is a way, metaphysics is a way, psychology is a way, but it's not your way.
Yeah.
And that's the key. That these are methods, one should say, hypnosis, metaphysics, psychology, they're methods to ease you
Yes.
into actually just saying, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be brave now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whatever helps me, put on headphones, I'm going to listen to that song, and that's the one that empowers
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Or I remember what my parents told me today,
Yeah.
that I can do this, that I'm
Yeah,
brave.
yeah.
Whatever it takes. Or if you know some relaxation technique from hypnosis and you start breathing with your diaphragm,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it takes.
yeah.
But it's basically the attitude, I think, of a lawnmower. That you have to mow over whatever obstacle, you have to mow the grass, you have to cut that lawn.
Mm.
And if the machine gets a little bit stuck or whatever, you sit down, you fix the machine, and you keep going. You don't just
I'm just going to get
stop.
a goat to cut my grass.
yeah, in Australia, it's wallabies and
Kangaroo.
Yeah, there's a
kangaroos.
solution. Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
some goats in there.
Yeah.
That'll save me on gasoline, which means I can
Yeah.
go out and get myself some. I don't know. There's always a different way of looking at things.
Yeah, and that's like in Australia, now they use wallabies and they use kangaroos
Yeah.
to some people to mow their lawn, to cut the grass. And where is the solution? Well, the solution is right under your nose.
Yes.
It's right there, and it's like we all have had that experience. We go to our kitchen drawers and everything, and we're looking for the salt.
Mm.
We're looking for a salt shaker, and then we're looking, and we never realized either A, that it was one of the things we moved away as we
Yeah.
were looking for the salt,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or B, it's on the table.
Or you're holding in your
Yeah.
hand and you're going,
Yeah.
where's the salt?
Exactly. Or how many of us is like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? It's in your pocket.
Yeah.
It's, where would it be?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. The solution to bullying and this problematic, it's right under our noses. It's just be a better father, better mother,
Yeah.
be a better friend at school, be nice, like you said, smile. All
3
these
words. I love you. How powerful
Yeah.
is that?
Oh, yeah.
How long did that take to say that? I know it's that's the
Yeah.
concept of it. Those 3 words. Like we were saying earlier on, the right words said at the right time can have an amazing impact, positive
Oh, yeah.
impact, and we know that it's not always negative. We know that the wrong word said at the wrong time can have a devastating effect, but the same process reversed. There's always a positive and negative, a plus and a minus to anything, as you know in your research and in your research and in my research. There's a positive and negative feeling. There's a positive and negative memory. So what we want to do is to give people that knowledge, because especially let's look at from a child's perspective, and we've all been there. We've all just said, "Oh, was I bullied?" Sort of. I suppose I had this natural bit. I thought I'm going to be bullied at some point, so I was prepared for it. And I didn't want to do what I had to do, but thank God I had the thoughts to be able to. I stood up to a certain person, and that was it. You know, I was thinking, oh my goodness, now this guy's going to put one. You know, so I sort of done that. But I think that as children growing up and as adults, we're never taught or we're never shown the options that we now know that's there. If I don't know what I know now and what you know now when we were younger, as pet, or we can pass it on.
Life would have been very different. Very different.
Absolutely.
And I think that, you know, I've got goosebumps because I know the stuff that we know not only can help people with their perception of bullying, not only help people with the bullied. This is a lifetime skill and experience and knowledge that can just open doors for you.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
And it puts you in control of those feelings and skill. You know.
Yeah, and it's not about fix bullying, because
no.
it's not about just not having war. Because that doesn't mean peace.
Exactly.
So
but we
need
this.
something else. We need something. It's about taking your child, taking yourself to that next level of mental evolution.
Well,
you can be better.
Exactly.
So if I say to you, dialogue works, does it not?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? You know, like you just said, you mentioned war. No war's ever won with violence. You know, all the stuff that goes on, it always then comes down to dialogue. When people say, okay, we've had enough of fighting, we've had enough of bloodshed, we've had enough. Let's sit down and talk about it. I might not still like you, but I want to get a balance with you so I can get on. You know, and that's the same with what we're talking about internally. You know, internal battles. Do the dialogue so you get the balance, so you can move on.
Yes, and can we please stop using words like anti-war, anti-bullying? What are you focusing on? War, bullying. Why not peace rally? Why not friendship or cooperation? You know, focus on the right thing.
Well, we're bombarded with it all day long, aren't we? Really, I suppose.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, newspapers, news. You know, what attracts us to this? It's all. A lot of it is all a negative. Yes, we need to understand, but it's very, very rare that you see a program that's full of laughter.
Because now,
isn't it?
The perspective on bullying is like a war. And in a war, it's who loses less, not who wins, but who loses less. Because both sides are losers. Yeah. Just who loses less, and then that's the one we call the winner. That's no good for us. So we need something else.
So in the conclusion, then, really, is what we would like listeners to understand about this conversation is, you know, bullying isn't physical. We know that. So you don't gain anything from that. It's an internal. It's an internal war against emotions, and you know, it's easy to be able to put it right. A bit of knowledge, a bit of understanding, a bit of experience. Yeah. You know, and that can that can sort of help the situation.
Yeah. Change your ideas about what bullying means as a consequence. It can mean the next level for you.
Exactly.
And
it can be a way for you to become a better person.
Yeah.
And there's an old Buddhist saying that I think applies here very well. The uncut hand can hold poison safely. That's what it's about, isn't that?
Yeah.
If you're strong internally, you deflect the bullies and the aggressors, and you can deal with it in the right way.
A last comment on that. When many parents say, like, well, if this kid knocks you on the head, you knock him harder. That's the solution, right? Yeah. What happens is that you're fostering more hatred, more violence.
Sorry, what do you think they give that as a solution? Why do you think parents do that?
Because they don't have the skills to tell the child, say, you know what, this is the root, this is the seed of your power.
So it's our job to get listeners to listening into this radio station, so we can help the parents.
Exactly.
They're not on their own.
No.
You know, they're not on their own. We want to help you, parents. You listen to our conversations,
and I'm
sure later on down the road we're going to do some presentations and all that, and go. But the parents
go to schools,
because they are the biggest. They'll have the biggest impact on their children.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. And just for parents, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to do when your child faces an unsurmountable bully?
Yeah.
Some kid, some person who is literally so much stronger, powerful, mentalized than your child, and they just literally can't compete, and they say like, well, I knocked him on the head like you told me, but he kicked me in the butt, you know, like, hey.
And what would be a good reaction if you come up and somebody said to me, you know, my reaction to a child, you know, I'm being bullied, I'd say, relax, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That simple difference in, and you know, you may want to tell him, relax. Now I'm going to tell you how, if you want to go out and do this, isn't it? That's simple. That's all you need. And the brain's going, I've heard that word relax before. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you start the conversation. It's as simple as that, isn't it? You know, and that goes in any situation. You know, if you're in a relationship and somebody's just relax. They may not, but you've got a little bit of, you're controlling it a little bit, aren't you? You know, and if you're in a business, you're in a meeting, you've got a manager who's a bit, you know, can you just relax a bit more? You tell me what you want to tell me. A simple little thing like that. You can't get aggressive to somebody who's asking you to relax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's the same with a smile, isn't it?
Yeah, simple thing. So, you know, again, if they, from the people who are listening, two things, you know, those are the two things to think about. Smile. I want you to smile and see how you feel. And then try that out in different scenarios wherever you are. And next time you're in a confrontation, whether it's with your child or you are a child, just quickly say, relax.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
That here, when we offer our perspectives, you know, the listeners, that's the point. Take whatever you like. You like the Buddhist phrase, and that really gets you in that state. Take that. You like the smile.
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is that you listen to, latch on to what you need, and take that. And just this, it's one of my favorite phrases as well. It's from a motivational speaker, Les Brown, and he says to say, "I'm not having a bad day. I'm having a character building day." So that's what we need to think. We need to think, today's my chance to go to that next level, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Go to the next level.
And any children who are listening now, you know, try this. Wherever you are, next time you come across somebody, smile and just see how you feel. That's all we're going to ask at this point. You know, keep listening on to the radio station. There's some good stuff coming up over the weeks. Next week, I think we'll be talking about body language. Body language.
Also, fascinating subject. A lot to do with confidence. A lot to do with changing how you feel, how other people feel about you.
And the nice thing about the body language, as we know, is you don't have to say anything.
And you don't need anything except your body.
Yeah, that's it.
That's great.
Okay.